He says, I don't give a F how loud you get. You already Patti LaBelle. That's what you do. If you was a man, I wouldn't be doing what? Writing you? You right. I would have slid you if you was a nigga. But you aren't. So I text and talk. That's a crime too. 3 lawsuits, many similarities. Let's take a closer look at these lawsuits against Blakk Tatted, entrepreneur, influencer, and scammer. Welcome to my Celebrity Crime and Hot Topic channel. Drew Sidora from Real Housewives of Atlanta has promoted and platformed this alleged scammer. Let's take a look at what he allegedly has been doing in these streets. And why does Cardi B catch a stray? So this lawsuit was filed first by Claudia Gregory, who has been on Tasha K, and the Shade Room did a story on her lawsuit and accusations against Blakk Tatted. Blakk Tatted is being featured on, or was featured on, Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 17, this current season, as a love interest or a pursuer of Drew Sidora. Drew Sidora is tied into this story because Claudia Jordan is claiming that Drew Sidora owes her money as well. But anyway, what stood out about this lawsuit is, let's look at the factual background. And they've been serving Blakk Tatted in Missouri City, Texas, which is in my backyard. But he's gone. He's been evicted, and even they can't serve him with the paperwork. Plaintiff seeks monetary relief of $250,000 or less, excluding interest, statutory punitive damages, penalties, attorney's fees, and costs. Here's a background. Plaintiff Claudia Gregory and defendant Cardell Bradley maintained a friendship and professional relationship prior to the events giving rise to this dispute. In or around June 2024, defendant Bradley individually and on behalf of Black Smoke Inc. solicited funds from plaintiff, representing that he lacked access to business funds due to factors outside his control, including but not limited to frozen and inaccessible PayPal, banking, and other financial accounts. Blakk Tatted represented that he had access to millions of dollars simply tied up in his PayPal account, promising to pay plaintiff with the proceeds from his annual Black Friday sale, in addition to a return on the money provided. These representations were material in plaintiff's decision to provide funds and were made for the purpose of inducing plaintiff to transfer money to Blakk Tatted. Relying on these representations, plaintiff transferred approximately $69,000 to defendant. However, at the time Black Smoke made these representations, they were false. Black Smoke did not lack access to funds as represented and did not intend to repay plaintiff. After Black Friday passed without payment, plaintiff Blakk Tatted continued to present plaintiff with excuses. And we have text messages here. To date, Blakk Tatted has failed to repay the amounts owed to plaintiff, resulting in substantial financial harm, including but not limited to foreclosure, and loss of assets. How did $69,000 result in foreclosure, ma'am? Okay, I don't know what came first. Maybe these came first, but he's saying, let me tell you, LOL, as a man, I just do what I gotta do. When you need me, I don't complain to you. I just make sacrifice. I literally waited on that payment to come today for my bill, which is $693. I got $800 for it today. Still sent you the $550. Left myself with $200. Now I'm back to the drawing board to figure this out, to not be disconnected. It gets out off Tuesday. It gets cut off Tuesday morning. So he's trying to make it seem like he's in a really bad situation, and despite not having money, he gave her $550 of her $69,000. It looks like he sent her a screenshot of a checking account. Wait a minute, now my work phone bill just came out automated and left me with this ain't no $200 bill, something. OMG. And I can't really see this part. It looks like she says, oh no, wait, I don't want that something you though. All right, so I guess she's in blue. She says, K night. Then she says, bro, call me, please. November 3rd. Then December 1st, she says, good morning and happy almost birthday. I'm reaching out again because I really need to get the remaining payment from the Black Friday sales completed as you promised. I've been waiting much longer than expected, and I'm honestly very tired of the delays. Please let me know if you're able to finish the payment. I need this resolved within 7 days so we can finally put this behind us. I'd appreciate an update. And there's another message reaching out to see what's something. Okay. So she made attempts to collect, and he's making it seem as though, and I don't have a date on these text messages. So I don't know why they would just include incomplete screenshots, but I don't see how they tie in together what date was what. But anyway, causes of action. Plaintiff incorporates by reference the factual allegations made in paragraph 7 through 16 above and shows as follows. Fraud. Blakk Tatted made material misrepresentations of fact in connection with the funds provided by plaintiff, including but not limited to funds in excess of $69,000. Blakk Tatted knew the representations were false or made them recklessly without knowledge of their truth. Blakk Tatted intended plaintiff to rely upon those representations and agreeing to provide the funds. Plaintiff justifiably relied on those representations. As a direct result, plaintiff entered into an agreement that plaintiff would not have otherwise agreed to and suffered actual damages. Breach of contract. Plaintiff entered into an enforceable agreement with Blakk Tatted. Despite plaintiff's full compliance with her contractual obligations, Blakk Tatted breached his obligations by failing to repay the funds, including but not limited to amounts in excess of $69,000. As promised, as a result, plaintiff suffered damages, including but not limited to actual damages under 38, I guess it's the code 38.001. Plaintiff is also entitled to recover her reasonable and necessary attorney fees. Okay, money had and received. Blakk Tatted holds money which in equity and good conscience belongs to plaintiff. Blakk Tatted has been unjustly enriched by retaining funds that rightfully belong to plaintiff. Unjust enrichment. Blakk Tatted obtained a benefit from plaintiff by fraud, duress, or the taking of an undue advantage. It would be inequitable for Blakk Tatted to retain the benefit of the funds without repayment. Prayer. For these reasons, plaintiff Claudia Gregory prays this court award her damages and attorney's fees, pre and post judgment interest, exemplary damages, and grant her all other relief to which she is entitled in law and in equity. All right, then we have Brittany Richard, who is also known as B. Marie, who I didn't know about until these stories came out, but she's a business owner, influencer. She is or used to be friends with Super Cent, who's also a well-known entrepreneur out of New Orleans. And so she has sued Blakk Tatted as well. She has an original petition and she has 2 amended petitions. All right, so still Fort Bend County, of course, and here's the background. Plaintiff and defendant Cardell Bradley developed a relationship prior to the events giving rise to this dispute, during which plaintiff placed trust and confidence in defendant. In and around 2024, defendant Bradley individually solicited funds from plaintiff, representing that he was experiencing financial distress and lacked access to business funds. In connection with this solicitation, defendant made multiple representations, including but not limited to the following: that his financial accounts, including PayPal and banking accounts, were frozen and inaccessible, that he had substantial funds, including representations that he had access to significant amounts of money through PayPal accounts, and that he lacked sufficient income or access to funds to meet his financial obligations. These representations were material and made to induce plaintiff to transfer funds. Relying on these representations, plaintiff transferred in excess of $300,000 to defendant. Defendant promised repayment and a return on the funds. At the time these representations were made, they were false. Defendant did not lack access to funds as represented and did not intend to repay plaintiff. Now, B. Marie has went online and I did a video on that where she says that she knows for a fact that he had money when she loaned it to him, and she didn't loan him the $300,000 all at one time. All right, let me continue. So instead, defendant knowingly fabricated or exaggerated these circumstances to induce plaintiff to provide funds. After receiving plaintiff's funds, defendant failed to repay the amounts owed and continued to provide shifting explanations while requesting additional funds. To date, defendant has failed to repay the amounts owed to plaintiff, resulting in substantial financial harm. In addition to these losses, plaintiff missed a significant business opportunity involving Cardi B, which would have provided substantial financial benefit and exposure. Plaintiff required access to her funds to move forward with that opportunity, but defendant refused to return the funds and represented that he did not have the ability to do so. As a result, plaintiff was unable to pursue the opportunity, causing additional financial loss and missed business exposure. Cause of action. Plaintiff incorporates by reference the actual allegations made in paragraphs 7 through 17 above and shows as follows. Fraud. Blakk Tatted made material misrepresentations of facts in connection with the funds provided by plaintiff, including but not limited to funds in excess of $300,000. Blakk Tatted knew the representations were false and made them recklessly without knowledge of their truth. Blakk Tatted intended plaintiff to rely upon these representations in agreeing to provide the funds. Plaintiff justifiably relied on those representations. As a direct result, plaintiff entered into an agreement that plaintiff would not have otherwise agreed to and suffered actual damages. Breach of contract. Plaintiff entered into an enforceable agreement and Blakk Tatted Despite plaintiff's full compliance with her contractual obligations, Blakk Tatted breached his obligations by failing to repay the funds, including but not limited to amounts in excess of $300,000, as promised. As a result, plaintiff suffered damages, including but not limited to actual damages. Under whatever code this is, 38.001, plaintiff is also entitled to recover her reasonable and necessary attorney's fees. Money had and received. Blakk Tatted holds money which in equity and good conscience belongs to plaintiff. Blakk Tatted has been unjustly enriched by retaining funds that rightfully belong to plaintiff. Okay, and unjust enrichment. Blakk Tatted obtained a benefit from plaintiff by fraud, duress, or the taking of an undue advantage. It would be inequitable for Blakk Tatted to retain the benefit of the funds without repayment. All right, this is different. Tortious interference in prospective business relations. Blakk Tatted intentionally interfered with plaintiff's prospective business relationship, including a significant business opportunity involving Cardi B. Blakk Tatted knew of this opportunity and, despite promising repayment, refused to return plaintiff's funds and represented that he did not have the ability to do so. Blakk Tatted's conduct was willful and intentional and was a proximate cause of plaintiff's inability to pursue the opportunity. As a result, plaintiff suffered additional financial losses and damages. Prayer. For these reasons, plaintiff Brittany Ricard prays this court award her damage and attorney's fees, pre- and post-judgment interest, exemplary damages, and grant her all other relief to which she is entitled in law and in equity. And it looks like they have the same attorney, y'all. That's messed up. If she went to him telling him that she had an opportunity and she needed her money in order to pursue the opportunity with Cardi B, and he still lied and said he didn't have the money, like, that's cold. Some scammers will try to romance their victims, but it looks like he just established a family type relationship with these ladies and their kids, as he showed on Real Housewives of Atlanta, because Drew has 3 kids, and he said something to her about buying gifts for the kids or something like that. So I don't know if he owes Drew money or if Drew owes him money, because both of them have this in common: borrowing money or getting services and not paying for them, allegedly. All right, let's move on. Okay, y'all, I will read some of these text messages, but I will provide them in some other form to y'all because this is some small print. I'm waiting on my replacement phone, which should be here in a couple days, but this is some small print, so I really can't look at this the way I want to. But the amended petitions are including text messages between those two. Hopefully these are in order. I'll read as much as I can. So she says, "Hey, Black question mark." He says, "Yeah." Can't read that part. And then he says, "I'm okay. What's up?" And then something is shaded or fuzzy or whatever. And then this is after she's loaned him $300,000, y'all. He says, "LOL, son, you are so lame and fake AF." Then she says, "None of those are dates, son." Whoa. So I guess she's saying she wants to know when he's going to be able to pay her back her money. And he's now saying all of a sudden she's fake. So she's too fake for him to pay her back. But she wasn't fake to let him borrow the money. All right, so he says, "Girl, I'm not about to keep telling you the same ish and same dates, etc. over and over. Read and scroll up when you forget. You antagonize whenever you're disloyal. Don't want to face and accept accountability for the snake ish you do. You gaslight and deflect. I don't know who you trying to flex for or on, but you'll..." Hold on. Okay, that one was cut off. So next one says, you got funding Black Friday, date release of funds, when, friend, and all these question marks. He says, "When I get my funding." We just talked about this. A long convo last week, Brittany, LOL. This is why I'm getting pissed, because you know what you're doing. I can't even count on Black Friday until my processor gets released. Until that lien that we keep discussing is gone, I don't even get Black Friday money, LOL. For you to now act like my circumstances is all of a sudden to my own discretion since we ain't talking shows me how you really felt and how genuine you've truly been, but I respect it. The same things you act like you were my safe space about are the same things that you're weaponizing. I never wanted to regret being so vulnerable with you, son. You really don't realize how you handle people and how you make them feel with your words and actions. You antagonize and then you become the victim of reaction. Then it says something don't have to make sense to you. It's not for you to understand where I lay my head at. I'm supposed to not fight for my home and lose it to appease you. Okay, so I guess he's acting as though he's fighting for a home, yet he was renting in Missouri City, Texas. To help you understand my struggle, this ish lame. I had these things before you. I paid for this ish before. Hardship is my hard-earned money and sacrifices that bought this, not yours. So don't speak on it. You a control freak. You helping me before doesn't mean you own me. I don't have to explain my livelihood to you and check in with you about it. There's a fine line and you're crossing it. Then she blurs something out she said, and then he says lesson learned on both our parts. He also says, how the F I'ma send you $300K at once for funding. That ain't $300K. Something else you already know, but being petty. I don't know why she blocks out what she texts. He says, I don't give a F how loud you get. You already Patti LaBelle. That's what you do. If you was a man, I wouldn't be doing what? Writing you? You right. I would have slid you if you was a nigga. But you aren't, so I text and talk. That's a crime too. Okay, I won't anymore. I'm not attacking your character. I'm telling you about your character. I have no intention of paying you back, question mark. You'll be a darn fool to believe that. But okay, so where's the money, Blakk Tatted? Where's the money? So, okay, what I can read, she says, you're around here spending and paying other people, but have yet to send me what you owe me. I'm not looking for handouts or favors. I want what's mine. You hate that you something me and now, okay. So then he says, so his tactic is to just no longer like her character, insult her, be angry, yet still pretend as though he doesn't have any money. So my thing is, what's the point of doing what she accused him of, trying to ruin her friendships, relationships, business dealings? What's the point of him doing that when he can just say, I don't have it? I don't get that part. I don't know if B. Marie is totally innocent, but I haven't heard of anything that she's actually done that would make her at fault for him owing her this money and not paying it back. So he says, let's be clear. Let's address something. Since you want to be shady, I'm not renting a mansion in LA. I'm owning it. For rent, I would be out that B. Let's be clear and excuse me. I have always maintained my life. It wasn't a problem of me paying my bills until my processors got liens. We keep going over this. I don't know where this is coming from. My business makes money, real money. We always talk about this, which is why you always say I'm confident and not worrisome about business. I'm confused where all this is coming from. And yes, I have my things that don't have to make sense to you. It's not for you to understand where I lay my head at. I'm supposed to not fight for my home and lose it to appease you, to help you understand my struggle. This ish lame. She blocks out what she says for some reason. He said, no, that's not how I meant it. What I'm saying is, despite everything that's going on, you still have money that's guaranteed to come in from me. And be glad I saved you from Cardi B promo then, because you'll be regretting it just like my dog who took your place still is. Ooh, so yeah, I'm the MF hero. Wow, he really plays mind games. But I want to read that part again for all the Cardi B fans. And be glad I saved you from Cardi B promo then, because you'll be regretting it just like my dog who took your place still is. Laughing face. So yeah, I'm the MF hero. And then he says, I can't play the audio because I'm on a call. Something this time. I don't know. I can't read some of her stuff. So yeah, this bottom part is a lot. And hopefully I can put it in here and y'all can blow it up without it being too fuzzy. So here are the same causes of action: the fraud, the breach of contract. Yeah, okay. So the amendment or amending the text messages. So then we have Jayla Wilson, known as Lala Milan. She filed April 23rd, 2026. Lala Wilson versus Cardiel Blakk Tatted Bradley. Okay, so plaintiff Lala Wilson is an actress, entrepreneur, and social media specialist residing in Los Angeles, California. He was served same address in Fort Bend County, Missouri City, Texas. They had a friendship spanning approximately 10 years before the events giving rise to this dispute. He told her his financial accounts were frozen and inaccessible, and that his former assistant, who allegedly held power of attorney, had wrongfully taken control of his company and its finances, and that he lacked access to sufficient funds to cover ongoing expenses due to pending litigation. These representations were material to Lala's decision to provide funds and were made for the purpose of inducing Lala to transfer money to defendant. She transferred $25,250 to defendant between July and August of 2025. In exchange, defendant Bradley promised that the funds would be repaid no later than Black Friday 2025. This man confessed to making millions of dollars just in one day. So you mean to tell me he did not put funds in different places where if anything happens, just one incident wouldn't cause everything to be frozen? That's just really not smart on his part and not smart on hers for believing him. Now, I don't know how much money she has. $25,000 is not a lot if she has a lot. But still, $25,000 is a lot. And considering he has made all this money allegedly, what was $25,000 going to do to help him? All right, I'm going to skip down a little bit. After receiving plaintiff's funds, defendant failed to repay the loan as promised. When repayment became due, defendant Bradley engaged in a pattern of shifting and contradictory explanations, including claiming that PayPal had restricted access to funds, appealing to sympathy, and representing that the business was inoperative and unable to generate revenue. So again, there are some similarities to what he told these plaintiffs. And then there is a little bit of variation in how he treated these people when they wanted their money, and the stories he told them when trying to avoid repayment. So in the text that she provided, I'm only showing her in blue saying, 2 text messages. Hey, it's been over a month and I haven't heard anything from you. I'm checking in to see when I can expect the remaining $21K back. Please let me know. Now, I'm wondering what his excuse was when she got $4K in the beginning. Okay, so then then she says, hey, following up in January 30th. So Black Friday, of course, is right after Thanksgiving in November. And here it is, January 30th, and she still ain't got her money. All right, he says, good morning. That's what I called you a couple weeks ago to discuss. Thank you for being a friend to me. We've been friends for a decade and literally never had a problem. We've always showed up for one another. Always. I've been here for your darkest and lowest times, and you've been here for mine. I'll never forget that nor throw that away. I don't know why they let part of this get cut off. I don't know. You're not even something more so sister, family, or that's what we've always. Okay, hold on. You're not even someone I consider just a friend, more so sister, family, and that's what we've always shared. You know my heart. You know you do. She thought she did. If I'm being honest and transparent, what's happening now is extremely hurtful, but I'll literally not ever throw you away or not fight for you. Well, you don't have to do that right now. She just wants her money. And our beautiful friendship we've always shared simply because you mean that much to me. Oh, that's so sweet. And you know you do. Hey, I can know it all I want, but can I have my money? I can put all pride and ego aside when it comes to you. That's nice to know, but do you have my money? Okay, he says, I know how we got here, but I refuse to let the enemy win. Oh, we're going to religion, Lord. We're going to religion. I'm still all about you and will always love you. So I guess she asked him at one point if the money was lost or if her investment was lost or her loan. He says, no, it's not lost, baby. Y'all know he got a little New Orleans accent. No, it's not lost, baby. With a laughing emoji, which I don't know what's funny. I couldn't send it yet. They only released 5% of my PayPal reserves. It's literally getting handled, though, so no worries. If it was something bad, I would have let you know. I'm getting it. Call you tomorrow. Thank you again for this. These post hoc explanations are further evidence of defendant Bradley's lack of intent to repay in his ongoing effort to conceal the true nature of the transaction. During the same general time period, defendant Bradley publicly represented that his business was generating substantial revenue, directly contradicting his claims of financial incapacity. Defendant Bradley knowingly fabricated or materially exaggerated these circumstances to induce plaintiff and others to provide funds, which defendant then failed to repay. To date, defendant has repaid only $4,000, leaving an outstanding balance of $21,250. So, same causes of action: fraud, breach of contract, money had and received, and unjust enrichment. For these reasons, plaintiff Jayla Lala Wilson prays this court award her damages and attorney's fees pre and post judgment interest, exemplary damages, and grant her all other relief to which she is entitled in law and in equity. Okay, granted, this man also has 3 evictions pending. One has been dismissed, and he has 2 toll road citations that add up to, I think, almost $1,000. So he's just been going up and down the Fort Bend County toll road for however long and racked up hundreds and hundreds of dollars in toll fees. So he's a little lawbreaker too, you know. But like I said, according to like I was gonna say, B. Marie came out with a live and addressed some things that Blakk Tatted had accused her of, and some of her friendships, and some of her decisions and things she's done online that are kind of questionable. And in that live, she said that Blakk Tatted has been evicted and he has moved to Thailand. I don't know how she knows this, but whoever told her needs to help her, like, find him, or help the authorities find him so they can get their money. Because if he's gone to Thailand and he actually had money all this time, hopefully there is a way for them to get their money despite him, fleeing the country. That's one thing. It's one thing to get a lot of money and leave the country, because you don't have to stay in the States and work and whatever. But it has to be lonely to have to move to a whole nother country, and at the same time you're avoiding paying all these people back that you called your friends and your family. It's like, that has to be a terrible life. It's one thing to move there with your millions, your family, a friend, or even be able to come back and visit. But it's like, how can you come back and visit without having to look over your shoulder, or without, risking getting locked up? Because what if this turns into criminal charges? But y'all know that scamming is heavy in Atlanta. I know it happens all over, but I tend to hear a lot more of it coming out of Atlanta because of the content that I do, the shows that I watch. I tend to hear and see a lot more about this scamming in Georgia. So that's what I report on, or what draws my attention. All right, y'all. Well, hopefully these ladies can find a way to get their money back. Let me know if you have any questions about, some things I may not have discussed in this video. And check out my other videos regarding this topic. Please hype this video, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification button so you don't miss any of my videos. Shout out to all my members. Thanks for being a part of the exclusive foodie community, where you get exclusive content and content before it's released to the public, and occasional lives. Talk to y'all later. Bye. Ooh.